Good afternoon, guys. Today we're going to be talking about laws of exponents. Okay, so there are different parts. When a number, variable, or expression is raised to a power, the number, variable, or expression is called the base, and the power is called the exponent. Okay, so for example, on this one, the base is b, and n is the exponent. Alright, what is an exponent? An exponent means that you multiply the base by itself that many times. So for example, x to the fourth is equal to x times x times x times x. Okay? 2 to the sixth would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which equals 64. Okay? The invisible exponent, when an expression does not have a visible exponent, its exponent is understood to be 1. So x is the same as x raised to the first power. Okay? The rule of zero exponent. When anything except for 0 is raised to the 0 power, it is 1. So for example, a raised to the 0 power is 1 if a does not equal 0. X raised to the 0 power is 1 if x is not equal to 0. 25 raised to the 0 power is 1. Okay? So our first rule for exponents is when multiplying two expressions with the same base, you add their exponents. So when you have the same base, b, raised to the power of n, multiplied by the base b raised to the power of m, you add those exponents. It will equal b raised to the power of the first exponent added to the second, n plus m. Okay? So if we have x squared times x to the fourth, we will then have x raised to the 2 plus 4 power, which is going to equal x to the sixth. 2 times 2 to the 2 squared. Remember that 2 is an understood raised to the first power. So 1 plus 2 is going to leave us with 2 to the third power, which equals 8. Alright, exponent rule number 2. When raising a power to a power, you multiply the exponents. So, for example, if you have b raised to the n power, all raised to the m power, you multiply those exponents, n times m. Okay? An example, x squared, all raised to the fourth power, we're going to multiply that. 2 times 4, it's going to be x to the 8th power. Okay? When we have 2 squared squared, you multiply those exponents, 2 times 2, so we're going to get 2 to the 4th power, which is equal to 16. Alright, when a product is raised to a power, each piece is raised to the same power. So what that means, guys, is when we have a times b, all raised to the m power, you can separate that to be a to the m times b to the m power. Okay? So an example would be xy squared. That is the same thing as x squared times y squared. 2 times 5 squared. It's the same thing as 2 squared times 5 squared, which is the same thing as 4 times 25, which equals 100. Alright, note, this rule is for products only. Only when things are being multiplied is that true, okay? When using this rule, the exponent cannot be brought into the parentheses if there is addition or subtraction. Only multiplication, guys. You would have to use FOIL in these cases. Okay? Exponent rule number 4. When dividing two expressions with the same base, you subtract their exponents. So when we were multiplying expressions with the same base, we added them. So when we're dividing, we will subtract them. So if we have b raised to the n divided by b raised to the m, it's going to be b raised to the n minus m. You subtract them. So an example would be x to the 4th divided by x squared. It would be x raised to the 4 minus 2, which gives us x squared. All right. When a quotient is raised to a power, both the numerator and the denominator are raised to the power. So when a fraction is raised to a power, like a divided by b, all raised to the m, you can separate it to where each of those terms has that exponent. Okay, so an example, x divided by y cubed is the same as x cubed divided by y cubed. Exponents rule number 6. Negative exponents. If b does not equal 0, then b raised to the negative n power is the same thing as 1 over b raised to the positive n. So anytime you have a negative exponent, you can move it. If it's in the numerator, you can move it to the denominator. If it's in the denominator, you can move it up to the numerator. If you move it from the numerator to the denominator, or denominator up to the numerator, it becomes a positive exponent. So x raised to the negative 2 power is the same thing as 1 over x squared. 3 raised to the negative 2 power is the same thing as 1 over 3 squared, which is 1/9. Okay, the negative exponent basically flips the part with the negative exponent to the other half of the fraction. Okay? So 1 over b raised to the negative 2 power becomes b squared over 1, which is just b squared. Right? 2 over x raised to the negative 2 power, we're just going to move the x raised to the negative 2 power up into the numerator. Okay? And so it's just going to be 2x squared. And that's it, guys. Have a great day.